Now, let's take it from the top.
This is the Lowdown Sports Show.
Give me the lowdown.
With Drew.
I just heard your dad might already hate you, and I was like,
Yeah.
what, brother? Oh, man.
And BJ.
Yeah, he could be part of the mascot's entourage and be throwing T-shirts into the crowd.
And it all starts right now.
All right, welcome into another episode of the Lowdown Sports Show. I'm your host, Drew.
I'm BJ.
And we're here to get the lowdown on all things basketball. As always, got a jam-packed show, and we brought back another guest, as a matter of fact. Before we get to our guests, though, we want to shout out our partners, TeePublic, Fanatics, and SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a ticket app that takes the confusion out of buying tickets. Use code The Lowdown in all caps for $20 off your first order. And this show is presented by StatHead. And BJ, we've got the stat of the episode.
We do have the stat of the episode, Drew. The $300 million man just announced a couple days ago, Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics, getting the bag, getting the richest contract in NBA history. Well, Drew, he had 3 40-point outings in this past season, but none were better than the career highs that he established, or the career high of 50 he established back in the 2021-2022 season with a career high 50 against the Orlando Magic. That was back on January the 2nd, 2022. In his career, Drew, he has had 8 40-point plus performances. 3 of them happened in this past season.
And how many years was that contract?
That contract, let me make sure. I want to say it was a 5-year deal, something like that. It was 3. It's upwards of $60 million a year because it's over $300 million, and I want to say it was a 5-year deal. So
you better get some more 40-point games after that money.
I was going to say
more buckets.
They're gonna want some more buckets, and they're gonna be paying out some more cash in the next year because it's almost time to re-sign Jason Tatum as well, Drew.
Well, there you go. There's the stat of the episode. Thank you, BJ. And now for that guest that we've been talking about. And we'll put our lovely face on this screen. We have got the sports anchor for KSL Sports, Utah Jazz and Utah Grizzlies host, and most recently, where I met her at, Sideline Reporter at AU Sports for Athletes Unlimited Basketball, Mariluz Cook. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. We appreciate you joining us. And, of course, Miss Salt Lake, USA. I mean, we're not going to leave that out. I mean,
couldn't do that.
Putting in some work lately. Putting in some work. And, I mean, matter of fact, that's what we're leading off with right here. What was the experience like? I mean, we don't, obviously, we're guys. We don't know anything about the pageants or anything like that. We don't have kids. We don't know what the girls are like, what the experience is like.
It was such an awesome experience. I've been involved with pageants since I was 18 years old, actually. So I used to compete in the Miss America organization in Florida, and that's actually a big, huge way that I put myself through school, graduated debt-free with scholarships that I earned from that. So I've been in Utah about almost 4 years now, and so I just wanted to use up some of my eligibility before I run out. And so I really feel connected to the state of Utah, and I knew it was something that I wanted to go for this year. So Miss Utah USA competed in that earlier in July, and it was so great just to meet other incredible, driven women from around the state. I think that's my favorite part of pageants is just, I work in a very male-dominated field, and I'm a girl's girl through and through. So to be around other women who are like-minded was just really cool. Made a lot of new friends here. And it was a great experience. So I'm thankful. I think for me, pageants they're such a catalyst for growth, and they just push me to be my best in every single area of my life. And so it just, to have the opportunity to potentially represent my state on the Miss USA stage, of course, that was something I wanted, but just a personal growth thing as well. And then new friendships. So great experience all around.
What would you say are some of the top 3 moments from that experience for you?
I was the first person called into the top 5. So that was really cool for me.
Yeah.
I've competed for several years, first time in Utah, like I said, but I don't think I've ever been called first. There's usually that moment where you're waiting. Like I've been called last before. So to be called first, that was pretty cool. And then I had a great onstage question that I was asked, and I was able to share about my Cuban heritage. I was able to share about a small business that my family has owned for over 40 years and just how that's really shaped and molded me. And then I would say just being backstage with the other women and just praying before we compete that we would all just shine and be the best versions of ourselves. Those are the 3 moments I would say.
Oh, so wholesome. I love number 3.
Me too.
I was going to ask you, I'm not trying to be a jokester or anything like that. You do so much. Where do you find the time to sleep? I mean, we were talking about your bio. It just is truly remarkable, everything that you have got yourself, and then adding in the competing in the pageants as well. I don't know how you have the drive and the time to do all of this.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Well, actually, BJ, so all my jobs are contracted or part-time. So I really have the ability to create my own schedule. Obviously still really busy, but I left my full-time job that actually brought me to the state of Utah in December. So I really had to do that because I literally was not sleeping. It was pretty bad. So for about a year, I was doing all of these things in addition to a full-time job. So I used to be the director of broadcast and digital media for the Big Sky Conference. That's how I ended up in Utah to begin with. So definitely, I think leaving that job, as much as I loved it and as much it was great for my career to get to really, really start it out here in Salt Lake City, I think leaving that was something that I really needed to do. But for me, just really taking time for myself is really important. So every single morning, 6 a.m., I'm either boxing or taking a spin class at my gym. So it's really important for me to set the tone at the beginning of my day and know that I put that time aside for myself. I'm really big on practicing gratitude as well, just because on the front end of my day and at the end of my day as well, because I think it just keeps me really rooted and reminds me of all the cool things that I get to do in my jobs, because these are the types of things that when I look back to when I was in college and I really figured out that I wanted to be a sports broadcaster, so many of my jobs that, it wouldn't be sustainable to do this, but these were the type of things that I'd be like, I do this for free, And so I have to just remind myself that I'm so blessed with the spaces that I get to be in. And so just gratitude and then just taking time for myself for sure are really helpful.
Yeah, that's definitely something in this industry that you'll find a lot, is that you may love it. We all 3 of us we're doing something that we love, and we would do it for free, but it's not practical. You have to draw that line.
Incredible discipline on your part. And I mean, you're doing pretty much what everybody wishes they would remember to do every day, and, kind of look back and reflect and appreciate, the things that you do each day. Talk about the differences, doing contract work as opposed to that full-time gig that had you, running ragged and, not getting much sleep.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me, because I was doing that job in addition to all the other jobs that I had, and I was covering 11 different schools' athletics in 8 different states. So I was always on a plane. So I probably don't have as many Delta miles as I used to, which is okay, whatever. We're suffering a little bit with our status, but that's okay. So I would say that's the biggest thing, is I'm not having to travel nearly as much. And that was the hardest thing for me when I talk about my schedule being so important to me. Just routine is really important to me. That would mess with that. And that was really tough for me. So I do miss traveling as much as I did, but at the same time, I'm just thankful to kind of have more of a home base. So I would say that's the biggest difference. Just that I can really be intentional about the spaces that I'm in. And also, I just feel like I can be more present. I can really be where my feet are. Not that I wasn't before, but sometimes it didn't feel like I had the time to step back and reflect and be like, okay, well, how can I improve the next time that I'm on the sideline for KSL, or, and now it's like I have that time to be able to reflect and be like, okay, like this is what I want to do better. Like I have more time to watch sports as a fan and be like, I really like what this reporter did here. I think I've just allowed myself more time to think creatively about how I can improve my craft, which is something that when you're on that hamster wheel and you're going and you're going and you're going, I just wasn't making the time for that.
Right. I definitely feel that. And BJ, it's funny. I was telling BJ just before this, complaining about a routine that I can't seem to get in yet. Now down here, I've been here a little over a week now, and I can't get in a routine. I like being in a routine. I'm not as disciplined as you are. That would be really nice. Oh, that'd be awesome. But just getting in a general routine, it's hard to get in once you change environments.
Well, show yourself some grace because it's only been a week.
Yeah. I was gonna say I've been at a new gig now for about 2 or 3 months, and I'm still not on a routine. Unfortunately, I had a good routine going for a few months, and then it got changed at the start of this month, and so it's not that I've fallen into bad habits or anything like that. It's just that's something that can upend through no fault of your own. So you said that you left your full-time gig with the Big Sky. Now I had seen that you'd worked with them in the past. Are you still working with them in any sort of capacity now after leaving the full time, or is that's something that you've left and you're looking back as opposed to, or looking forward as opposed to looking back?
Yeah, definitely. Like I left that job and they have a new person in the position that I was in. Actually, a good friend of mine, her name is Alex Eshelman, and she's doing a great job there for them. But I will say I'm not involved with them anymore because they don't need me, but I did get to talk about Big Sky Media Days when I was on the news the other day and get to cover them. So that was a pretty full circle thing for me to get to talk about the job that brought me to the state of Utah, and just to be able to cover them was pretty cool. That was the first time that I was talking about them on the news. So I'm not involved with them the same way that I was, but I still see the people from that job, my communications team that I worked closely with. Those are some of my best friends. Like my old boss was at my pageant. So I love the people at the Big Sky, but yeah, I've really leaned into the other roles that I have here in Utah.
And when you were working with the conference, you were working all kinds of football preseason shows and college basketball tournaments. What for you, with all that goes into putting together a conference tournament, with you being involved in the media, how much preparation does that take? That's got to be months before the tournament. You're already starting to look ahead and prepare your body for 20 games in 5 days almost.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. That's exactly what it was. 20 games in 5 days. So it was so interesting because I was the first person in that role for the Big Sky Conference. So they created this position. I was the first person to ever get to do it. So they definitely had a vision for what they wanted it to be, but I also had the opportunity to really get to do things for the first time and make it my own, which was really cool. But you talk about 20 games in 5 days. And last year we had a show called, it was Big Sky Courtside, and it was the first time it had ever been done. And it was on ESPN Plus. And so I hosted their pregame show, their halftime show, their postgame show. And so that was for 20 games in 5 days, switching back and forth between men's and women's basketball. So I'll say that the conference tournaments definitely got easier for me, like in my third year with the conference, because I was coming from South Florida. I wasn't familiar with the Big Sky Conference. I didn't know a lot about them. We have great sports in that area of the country, and I didn't know a ton about the Big Sky. So when I got to a point where I had relationships that were just really good relationships with the sports information directors and the coaches and the players, where it wasn't like I was having to check my notes, like, okay, am I talking about the right, it was just things were kind of second nature. And I knew things that I could recall on a show because of interviews that I've done and just relationships that I had built with these people. I think that was the greatest thing. But in terms of preparation, it definitely months and months and months in advance. When I think about this just happened for them, football media days. Those interviews were heavy duty. I remember my first year hosting in person, it was like 6 hours of live interviews with just little commercial breaks in between. And so that takes a lot of prep for sure. And just knowing there were some people I'd never interviewed before in person, and you never know, like some people are a little more chatty than others, and just how do you just in the moment pivot when you have someone that's giving you one word answers. That was always fun. But a lot of preparation went into it, which I think was just I love that part of my job. Doing the research, I think is just a lot of fun. So
you ever get the notes like all jumbled up and you're like, oh no, this is men's and it was supposed to be a women's interview here?
No, that had not happened for me. But you know, it's really funny. I'm really big on mentorship, huge on mentorship. And there's this amazing mentee that I have. Her name is Ellery, and she's a cheerleader at the University of Utah. And so she just got asked to do sit down interviews with 12 different people, football players at the U, and she was asking me about how to structure her note cards, because she's like, oh, should I write down one question per note card? It was her first time doing sit down interviews, and I was like, no. I was like, get one note card, like just have some bullet points for each guy, like maybe a note card for each guy. So the note cards are really important to me, the way that I structure them. So we just had lunch together. She was like, thank you so much for the intel that you gave me on the note card. She's like, I can't imagine having to shift through all these things. So I'm an organized person. Having my notes organized is very important to me. So no, I have not had that before. But one time I said Idaho instead of Idaho State, and I thought I was going to get murdered. So, but anyway,
my goodness.
Ran into you, of course, at Athletes Unlimited in Dallas. It's first season out there. And I imagine your first season with AU, yes?
Yeah.
So what was the experience like for you with Athletes Unlimited? And, I guess, can we break news on here? I don't know if they've said it. Dallas again next year?
Yeah. Right. That's out there. Yeah.
Okay. So, just making sure I could remember.
Yes.
I thought we talked about it. I thought it was out there.
I said I couldn't remember.
I hope. Okay. Anyway,
we'll do a quick search.
So Athletes Unlimited, that was such a cool experience for me. So I was sideline reporting, but I also had the opportunity to create content for the broadcast too. So I was making feature packages throughout the week. So I was going to the practices and just getting to know the different athletes there, and doing sit downs with them throughout the week, and then just adding dimension to who they are as athletes, like really getting to tell those stories. I think that was really cool. And something so great that Athletes Unlimited does. They really emphasize who these athletes are outside of just the sport of basketball, which is something that really, really attracted me to that opportunity. So I loved it. I had never been to Dallas before either. So got very acquainted with Dallas, and very interesting weather out there. There were so many tornado warnings and watches while I was there. I was like, oh, I had no idea it was going to be like this. And I'm from South Florida. The humidity there was wild as well. But anyway, I had a lot of good food out there, and just like really, really enjoyed the people that I got to be around. And again, Athletes Unlimited, I think, just does such a wonderful job of giving everybody creative license, really just letting people do their jobs. It was such a cool experience. So I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it.
You flew out in February, or you were here in February. And I guess the one thing that I would imagine you're more accustomed to now, having been in Utah for almost 4 years, that you didn't get, almost completed your bingo card in terms of Texas weather, was that February ice storm that we seemingly has gotten the past few years.
No, it's okay. We had one of the worst Utah winters ever recorded in history. So I think that I got a pass on that. It's okay. I got my fix of winter in Utah. So I'm sorry I missed it in Dallas, but I'm not that sorry.
Well, I think it decided to come through a couple months earlier, so it's not a big deal.
We were not ready for that.
No,
we never are.
We're never ready down
here. For us on the random, like, hey, you can't walk down your stairs because it's really icy.
That does not sound like a good time.
No, not any fun at all. And while we're on the topic of women's basketball, I mean, we've done our, preseason stuff, our championship picks and things like that. Who do you have to win the big championship in the W?
Oh, I am I'm slacking on this area, so I don't know that I'm gonna give you an answer.
Okay. We're just gonna say the Aces. All right, the Aces are gonna win it all. That's right.
The Aces are the closest team to you.
I mean, we're so close, a 5-hour drive away.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's all you got. There's no stars anymore, so unfortunately we can't even give that an option in here. But that'll work. So, among the many things you do, we haven't gotten to this part yet, but it was one of the funnier things that I have seen live. You do some work for the Utah Jazz. Of course, if you're watching right now, you can see Utah Jazz host right there. Does it for the Utah Grizzlies as well. And you had an interaction with a fan that I happened to catch live that was so funny that we gotta show everybody else too.
Oh man!
All right, Utah, this is for you. All right, and go Jazz.
Yeah, that did happen. That did happen. Yeah. I've never had a fan take my mic before.
Is that Utah? Is that just Utah for you? I mean,
I don't
has anybody
think
ever
so.
tried
No,
before?
No. I love in-arena hosting. I love my job. I love the interaction with the fans. That was a different one for me.
So nobody's ever tried to grab it before?
No, that was the first. But I did what I could to take it back.
Yeah, you handled it like a champ. It was really
was there any dread going through you as it got the mic and you're like, oh no, what is he going to say?
I didn't know what he was gonna say, so as long as he said Utah, this is for you, I was like, all right, glad he got his moment. Okay, we're taking this back. So
perfect day to tune into a Utah Jazz game. I'll tell you what, that was hilarious halftime entertainment. Oh man. Man, I don't want to spoil this one. I almost asked the question I have for later just because it fit right in here, but I'm gonna hold back. Hold back, BJ. I'm gonna let you have this.
I guess I can let you hold off for now, and I'll shift gears. I wanted to have you talk a little bit about your Green Couch chats. I know that this is something that you said on your site that is very important to you. So why don't you give us a little bit about, what your Green Couch chats are and why you decided to start doing them essentially?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm on the Green Couch now. When I moved to Salt Lake City, this was going to be my first apartment that I had by myself. And so I was on Pinterest trying to figure out what I wanted. And I was like, oh, I love the idea of a green velvet couch. I found this one on OfferUp for like $75. And my mom was out here with me, helping me get moved and everything. And I'm pretty sure she thought I was getting kidnapped when I went to the man's basement to pick this up. But anyway, it's here. She really insisted on me getting it clean too. And I moved January 2020. It was right before COVID, never got around to it. So Lord only knows what has happened here on this couch, but I digress. I am very big on mental health. I lost somebody to suicide, a family member that I absolutely adored, had no idea struggled with mental health. And I was a sophomore in high school. And so ever since then, my perspective on mental health really shifted. I realized just how everybody has mental health and just how prominent mental health issues can be. And so for me, like my family, really, we didn't even start having mental health conversations in my home until after that loss. And so it really it drove me to especially in pageants, when you have to pick a platform, something that you advocate for. For me, I was like, okay, well, that's a no-brainer. Mental health, empowerment, mental wellness, like that's just so important to me. And as I've talked about, like physical health is really important to me. And I think mental health and physical health just go hand in hand. So anyway, so COVID happens and I am, here alone. My whole family's in Florida and I'm trying to think, okay, well, what can I do with my time? What can I do that's impactful? I got furloughed from my job. I didn't know if I was going to be going back to the big sky. And so I came up with the idea for Green Couch Chats. And so for me, like green is the color of mental health. And then also just a couch. I think that's a great place where conversations happen. And so we thought of the idea of Green Couch Chats. And so I just started interviewing people from all different walks of life, like a 12-year-old actress who struggles with mental health, a 72-year-old Miami Heat coach, just people that just are so vastly different, but view mental health from a number of different perspectives and have different tools that they use and different strategies, and just using my broadcasting background to open up those conversations. So it was born during COVID because I just was like, how can I make an impact in this space without being around people in person? And so that's where Green Couch Chats was born. And I think it's been a good passion project for me. It's something that I enjoy. So Yeah. Those
Yeah,
are great
absolutely.
calls.
That's something that I guess the Green Couch chats and the Lowdown have in common, Drew, is that they were both born through the COVID pandemic.
Hers is cooler than ours.
Yeah.
Though. I mean,
I don't know about that. The Lowdown is very cool.
I mean, and she's got a nicer little couch. I mean, this is futon, but I mean, she's got an actual couch. She's got cool digs. Looks suede too, is it?
Velvet, a nice little velvet moment.
Okay.
Yes.
With that. See, it's so much nicer. Podcast, nicer couch. I mean, we're taking L's here at this point.
I don't know about that.
Come on, man. No podcast.
Man, but you cannot take an L when you are shopping at T Public. You got to shop at our store, ladies and gentlemen. T Public. T Public, Fanatics, and SeatGeek are our partners. We've got a sale going on at T Public right now. You got t-shirts, $16, site-wide sale. Time to get that wardrobe updated for summer. If you haven't already, they still got tank tops. You want to get some tanks, you got t-shirts as well. T-shirts you can wear year-round. Whatever your poison is, pick it. Go get it right now at T Public. Use the link in our description to get your fit right for the summertime with T Public.
Yeah, Drew, I was rocking one of those tank tops just the other day. In fact, rocking for one of our other shows here on the Lowdown Network. But I'm of course rocking the standard OG Lowdown shirt here on today's edition of the show. If you want to get your back to school merch and rep your favorite Big Sky team, perhaps, talking with Mariluz Cook here, on the podcast, and you can go and shop in our description over at Fanatics. They've got all kinds of gear for that back to school shopping, including training camp merch that just opened up here in the past couple days, so you can get official looks from your favorite NFL team. They've got those throwback jerseys, all kinds of cool throwbacks have been revealed here the past couple days. I saw a Houston Oilers throwback for the Tennessee Titans, and I'm not an Oilers fan, I'm not a Titans fan, but it is so cool. I'm thinking about dropping the money to get some myself. Plus, the women's national soccer team is in action down in Australia, New Zealand. You can support Team USA and your favorite women's soccer squad by shopping at Fanatics. They've got a sale going on right now. You can get free shipping on orders over the $24 mark here in the United States. You use code 24SHIP at fanatics.com to get officially licensed everything. And Drew, before we say so long for this episode, we'd like to play a game here on this show.
It's time to play a game. It's been a while since I've been behind the questionnaire with a guest in the house. And that game is With It or Quit It.
Okay.
Man, I got 5 questions that we're set to ask our guest. If we have no guest, I usually ask BJ. BJ asks me. We play it that way. But we've got a guest, so the questions are to you.
Fabulous. Okay.
And, I mean, it's a sister game to this or that. You played this or that before.
Yep.
So it's kind of like that. I mean, we just ask you, I've got 5 questions. You just tell me whether you're with what I'm saying or you're going to quit it and you're not with that.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, let's get to it. All right, number 1. On a date, you would prefer to sit across from your date and not right beside them at the table. With it or quit it?
With it 100%. If somebody sits next to me, I'm scared.
Yes. I'm concerned about those sit right beside each other. In the booth
I'd be concerned for that man. Yeah.
That's you said that's a first date, Drew?
Any date. I mean, just
any date.
Yeah.
I never want to sit next to you.
Right.
I was just say, even if you've been married for a long time, because I'm with it as well, Drew, for like the first date, your first meeting. But if you've been together for a long time, especially if you're like on a double date, that's probably when.
Okay, a double date.
Double's different, but I mean like a solo dolo. Yeah.
Well, I think my girlfriend goes here, like my friends, and then her guy can go across. Yeah, her guy can go across. My guy's over there. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we still need to be across from each other. I don't know. That could be a different situation.
That's what I think too. But like if it's a solo. But if it's like a one-on-one date, we're not.
One-on-one, 100%. He needs to be across from me.
Yeah.
I need to be able to look at him.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I need
Cool.
to
I'm
hold
glad.
it.
I'm
Yes.
glad you're on the good side of that one.
Yes.
Number 2. Energy is better at Utah Grizzly games as opposed to Utah Jazz games. With it or quit it?
It's different. They're both so fun. I can't give you either. I love both of those jobs. I can't. I plead the fifth. They're both amazing.
Drew, that may be a first. I don't think anybody's ever pled
Sorry,
the fifth
I'm
in this
breaking the
game.
rules. I'm breaking the rules.
Oh man, I need to add that into the clause. No, please. Being with it or quit it.
No,
All right.
please.
I'm with the energy in both venues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. We'll let you get away with that. Number 3. Little quicker question. Peanut butter on pancakes and waffles. With it or quit it?
I'm with it.
Yes.
I'm with it. I love
Delicious,
peanut butter.
right?
Peanut butter on anything, honestly.
Delicious. Oh, okay. What is it that somebody tried recently? Oh, this is weird. On my way up here, people are so there's a restaurant. There's a peanut butter burger. Would you try that?
Yeah.
And do you think it would be good?
I think it could be. There's a reason it was made.
Yeah.
Right?
I tried it. Like
Oh.
I didn't buy the burger. I took a taste of somebody else's burger. But I
How'd
don't
you
know
feel?
that I'm really with it. Like it's
Okay.
it's one of those that like you like both of those things, peanut butter and burgers, but like together,
Together, maybe not the
it's
vibe.
just not the right
But
right
they
way.
just put like the peanut butter on the bun as opposed to like a mayonnaise
Yeah.
mustard
What
kind of
was-
deal.
Yeah. Can you tell us how it was done?
I think it was on the
No,
that might have been the problem.
Yeah,
It wasn't
if it's
spread
on like the
condiment on
meat
the
or
bun.
whatever, as opposed to like at the
It
top.
was sitting on like the beef.
Oh yeah, I
It
don't
was
know.
sitting on the burger?
Yeah.
No. I think on the bread could be a vibe.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know about on the burger.
But it would be harder to melt it if you put it directly on the bun, no? Get it hot on the.
But did you toast the
Did you?
bun?
Yeah, if you toast the bun.
That's a good point. Oh, maybe it would have been better toasted. I
I
might
think
give it
there's
another.
potential. There's potential.
I feel like there is. I might give it another chance. It wasn't disgusting. It just something didn't feel right. And maybe that.
Okay. I respect that. At least you tried it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. Number 4.
Okay.
The last time that you ever parallel parked was your original driving test. With it or quit it?
I live in downtown Salt Lake City, and so quit it because I do have to parallel park pretty often, and it usually takes me about 10 tries. So I'm a very bad parallel parker.
This question might have been served better with somebody else that's not in a big city. All right, last one here.
Yes.
Number 5. Another quick one. You're a morning person. With it or quit it?
With it 100%.
For sure. I figured. I knew this was going to be an easy one. I should have just answered it myself.
That's the hardest part of my job is that I have to peak at night. And I'm not a night person at all. So that's
How do you make it? Are you a coffee person? You bringing coffee in for the late night shift?
100%. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're going to build up a tolerance to your coffee. You got to find another substitute. Do you have energy drinks or you just rock coffee?
I'm a coffee girl through and through. I'm half Cuban. So, I mean, it's just,
Fair enough.
Cuban coffee,
That's fair.
motor oil, essentially.
The shot of the espresso in there too.
Exactly. My little cafecito. Absolutely.
Oh, man. Some coffee is too tough for me, but I get it. As a morning person, I would need that. Well,
Yeah.
if I was a morning person, I would say. I'm not there.
I
yet.
need more of a night person energy for my job. I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
Can we swap? Because I got to get up at 4 in the morning now. I just can't do this thing. I'm not alive. I need multiple cups of coffee now. Gosh. But that is With It or Quit It.
Love it. That was so fun.
Love it. And I'm glad that I got to be a part of your first experience here. We love it when we get to debut somebody's With It or Quit It on here. It's always fun. We always try to get the questions even better for you guys as opposed to ourselves. So yeah, that is With It or Quit It. And that is also the show. We appreciate you coming on, and we hope that we can, hopefully we were enough fun to where you can come back again for a second appearance.
I would
That
love
be a
to.
fun time. And
Awesome.
maybe BJ will be at the helm of With It Quit It next time. We'll see what question he can cook up.
We'll get it figured out. What was it like being you're more used to interviewing people? How was it being on the other end answering
what's
questions?
it like
as
on the
opposed to
flip
asking?
side? You ask all the questions.
I know. Well, I'll say y'all ask amazing questions. So thank you. I really, really appreciate that. I appreciate your preparation. So I guess, it's something that's always in the back of my mind, but it's always so fun when I do get to do this kind of stuff. Cause like you said, I am usually on the other side of an interview. So I really, really appreciate the opportunity to do it. It's so fun. And you guys are amazing. So thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. That's awesome.
What do you have coming up next? And when can we expect the new Green Couch episode?
Yes. I have been doing a little bit. I've just needed a little bit of a break post Miss Utah USA, but I have some exciting ones that'll be coming up soon. Some people that I'm working on scheduling interviews with. So hopefully in the next month or so, we will get rolling. We've needed a little bit of a break, but yes, we will be back on Green Couch Chat soon.
Awesome. Let the people
That's
know where they
fantastic.
can find you.
Absolutely. At Mariluz Cook on everything. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one in the world. So
Yes. Oh, it's an easy. You don't even have to put you don't even have to put Cook. You could just put Mary
no,
Lou
I don't
down.
know. Well, no, I'm the only Mariluz Cook. There are other Mariluzes out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we do have that. So I'm easy to find because I don't think you got that combo of the two names.
There you go. Hey, and if you tune into Utah Jazz games, you might catch another crazy fan trying to grab the mic from her. Who knows?
Let's say no. Let's not encourage that to happen.
Yeah, let's not encourage the behavior because Utah fans look like they'll be very willing to do that. Yeah. All right. We appreciate you joining us, and this has been another edition of the Lowdown Sports Show.